Hello and welcome back everyone. Day 3 for our Selenium fundamentals training. Let's get going from where we left in the previous session. So what we're trying to automate is the fact of the Amazon basic search. That's our test case. And what we did is we wrote a few steps here in this sheet with what the steps are. And we started looking at test data, if it's needed or not, and where should I perform that step. Then we have the expected result, the actual result, and if the test is passed or a fail. Right, everyone? And in the previous session, we also played around a little bit with the Selenium IDE, where we did a record and run. So what happened here primarily, team? Let's do a quick summary on this. And then we can get into something more aggressive in today's session to master and finish Selenium IDE and also element identification. So honestly, team, Selenium IDE, which is nothing but stands for an integrated development environment, is a plugin that works only with Firefox, but that gives you the ability to record the steps by using this button out here called click to record, and it will let you then capture every information of the steps that you've performed in the browser, store them, and you could execute them. So we've stored 2 test cases, right? Each of this is 1 test case and they have their own flow. Now, what you could do from here is you could go about saving all of this as a test suite. A test suite, basically what it means is for any given application, there are more than one specific, let me create a new folder here. And let's give it a name. I'll say Amazon underscore search. So for every application, there are multiple test cases that happen, team. Save test case as AMC underscore search product. Or save test suite, Amazon underscore search suite. Okay, let me explain. So for any given application, the most important aspect is every application is broken into pieces. They're usually very large, team. Let's assume that Amazon is this box. And within this box, there are furthermore boxes that get created. And each of these is a module or a group of functionality containing dozens of test cases. Because just imagine for the search, we initially assumed that it is just one test case, correct? Did we not? But then as we kept playing with it, there's so many options to test for it. Why do we need to test every option that's there in an application? Because the end user will someday use them, that functionality, that feature. So unless it's tested and it is proven to be reliable, the product value will go down if there are defects that get leaked. So when we group a few test scenarios together, that becomes a test suite, and that contains multiple test cases. And that's very critical for us to realize. In Selenium IDE, it gives us the ability to store one or more test cases, 2 or more test cases together under something we call as a test suite. So we had 2 test cases. Now I saved it under a test suite. 1 second. So let's execute this test suite. We have two test cases stored. This icon here says play the current test case. This icon here says play everything. There are so many features out here, team, that you could do. But Selenium IDE only has certain number of features. That is a great start for us. It gives us the ability to do a lot of things. But then when we want to go more advanced, that is when we switch to a different platform. And that will become our Selenium WebDriver with any kind of a popular programming language like Java, C Sharp, Python, Ruby, and so on. Now, both the test cases are executed. Can you tell me how many passed and how many failed in here? Did anything pass out here, team? No, both have failed. And what about yesterday? Did anything pass? Yeah, so why is it changed today? Honestly, team, I was not prepared for it myself. I don't know why it failed, but it is extremely critical to have great control on our automation. And the way we can do it is by method of debug and analysis. We need to debug is nothing but taking the bugs out of not the application, the code, because it's done more at a developer end. When you write automation scripts, you're also playing the role of a developer because you're doing some amount of coding, and that's important. Analysis is primarily to think very systematically, and I'll explain everything, all of these things to you. Think very systematically to find the right resolution. Resolution is a much more sophisticated word to a solution. You have kind of analyzed and come up with something that fits perfectly with our current situation. How can we do that? The best way to do that is go to the log, and it will tell us exactly why. So there are a few out here, but I think it starts from here. So I'm just trying to look at them. Two completed, two played, one failed. That was yesterday, right? This one. Now it's open, it is executing, no problem. Typed something, click and wait, verify the text. See, this word is so easy to understand, right? What is there under so-called command? Open, type, click and wait, verify text. And at verified text, it says your search NEO did not match any products, did not match. Your search product NEO did not match any products. Is this an actual defect, team? Is this an actual defect? Yes or no? No. Why is it not a defect? Faiz Mistry, very well said. We introduced the change. We actually are told that search for something different just to simulate a defect, nothing else. Okay, so I'm going to double click here and okay, let's go to the first one. Double click here and change to something correct. Your search product, I believe, is the word that we introduced, correct? So I'm going to delete this. Hopefully in my next run everything will be right. Now let's go back to log again. In fact, I should have done something called as a clear before that. It would have been easy. Let's look at the next test case. Test suite completed, 2 played, 2 failed. Okay, here. So open, type, click and wait, verified text. We're saying actual values 1 to 16 of 170925 results for soft toys did not match 1 to 16 of 170441 results for soft toys. Wow, why did that happen? So who is at fault out here, team? Who is the culprit? Teacher is at fault. For a second I thought Rupa is mentioning about me, but then I realized that we didn't teach. We as teachers did not teach the script to do it right. All right. Always remember, team, it's going to be a blame game. Why should it be a blame game in the IT industry? So that next time we get more mature. There are only three parties which can be at defect in an automation testing world. The first is the data or information that we provide. The second is the script or the Selenium code that we write, be it an IDE or WebDriver. The third is the application under test. These are the only three possible culprits. 1, 2, 3. Now let's imagine the situation. You are a test engineer or a QA analyst or an automation specialist, or what we can call as a much better term, SDET, software development engineer in test. If you assume that the fault in that test case run that I've showed you on IDE was a developer's problem, you basically said that the application is wrong. And what would you do at the time? You would log a defect. What would be the outcome of it if you log a defect? If the application is at fault, it's the developer's problem. So we're not trying to analyze why the issue happened right now, but how do we ensure who the right culprit is to begin with? What will happen if you log a defect? Is that a valid defect? No, right? It's not valid in this case. So what would the developer say? Guys, if you do not know how to test, get out of here. Do not waste my time. Do not log defects that are so foolish that you don't know how to test and how this application works. You are totally unfit for your role. Just get out. And who's going to hear that? It's just not you, your manager as well. And then next time the manager will say, now I have to spend additional time with you to ensure that every defect before you log, I verify it, or put someone to verify your defects and then do it. So keep this as your last option, as the final culprit, not the first one. In this case, is my Selenium script incorrect in IDE? Is the script a problem? Okay, so I'm getting a few yeses, many no's, and we'll come and go very deep into command target value in the next few seconds, team. It is not a script problem, team. The commands are right, the flow is correct, everything is right. The only culprit here is, one second. The only culprit here is this text. Number of soft toys found went up in Amazon overnight from an existing 170,441. It has gone up to 170,925. There are more for sale. This is the column called value. It is coming from some kind of a system or database or collection or a web service that is telling us what that value should be. It needn't have to be the same. So instead of soft toys, let us say currently I'm searching for a small glass door refrigerator. Will the same data work for it? No, correct? Why? Because I will get something different. So this becomes your test data problem, team. This does not yield with your script. Now, Selenium IDE is a very simple tool and it is easy for us to verify if it's correct or not. Oops. But in this case, it's your data, your test, oops, it's your test data which is the culprit. And you can fix it. So start with if the data is correct, this is for the analysis that I'm talking about, team. And then look at your script. When you're sure the data is correct and your script is correct in automation, then think of logging a defect. But if you're not too confident, retest it manually or let a peer or a colleague of yours also test it and then log a defect with all the supporting artifacts that says, yes, this is valid defect. You have to put your head high each day because you're not a small role in any organization team. You're one of the most important critical roles. So we need to ensure that this happens correctly. All right. So team, please keep your questions that are not related to this ongoing session away from the chat for now. We will come to a Q&A in a few minutes. All right, let's go now. Normal drawing mode. Let me erase this. Did you get the idea, team? Did you all understand what I'm saying? How do you get 0 down onto the culprit? Now how do I change it? That requires some change here. So I should go here and change it to 170925. So this will become 925. Now let's run this and let's see what happens. Let's get the browser as well. What do you expect should happen, team? Both must pass, correct? That's our expectation. The first one seems to have passed. That's the green bar that's showing in the Selenium IDE. What was the second one? That's a moving number. Every time it's going to move. It's not going to stay there. So how do we parameterize that and so on? We use something called as a regular expression. And this is where Selenium IDE kind of tends to not support too much. But before we talk about that, a little bit more advanced topic, which I don't know if we could do it as part of this training, let's go back to the fundamentals again of automation and understand what is this command target value. Visualize this, team. If I give you an instruction as simple as this, let's say, just an example, okay? You need to put your questions in the Q&A section. Is it clear? I'm telling you what you need to do, right, everyone? What is it that you need to do? I'm giving an instruction. What is it? If you have a question, put it into the Q&A section. Now, is it understandable for you? Or is there any question or a doubt in your mind as to what to do? But where is that Q&A? How do we recognize that? Guys, are you not listening to my instructions? I have told you to keep your questions away that are not related with the current session. I am not here to just help you solve your technical know-how. I'm here to train you, get your fundamentals straight first. all right? And I'll teach you how to fish, how to find your solutions, but you have to be patient. I will not repeat this again. Is that clear, everyone? Now, as a human, what I want you to do, you understand. But there is a Q&A. Is it on a browser? Is it in an email? Is it a live session? Or is it in the GoToWebinar tool? GoToWebinar tool. But how will a absolutely non-intelligent species called an automation script that does not have that caliber to think on its own understand the same? I need to also say where it has to perform. Okay, let me give you another example, team. Let's say you're my friend, you've come home and I'm on a call and I'll say, can you turn on the uh, air conditioner for me? He or she will figure out because they don't want to talk while I'm on the call, but then they'll go and find the remote or the switch for the air conditioner and turn it on and figure that out, correct? An automation tool cannot do that, team. You have to basically give instructions so clearly that there's no confusion at all. It is to be absolutely clear with all the possible details and possibilities of resolution when issues happen. That is when the scripts will run correctly. So to do that, you need to answer two questions: what it has to do, where it has to do. Now the same, turn on the air conditioner, if I have to tell to Selenium, what should I say? Step 1. So turn on the air conditioner is like a test case name. It's not a step name, right? So the first thing is find the AC remote. Step 2, pick it up. 3, point it towards the air conditioner. 4, switch the on button on the remote. 5, verify that the air conditioner has turned on. 6, keep the temperature to 21 degrees Celsius. 7, go put the remote back at the same place. Look at the detail, but then what is the, sorry, then what is the, why should we take all this effort when it's so easy to do it manually? If your friend is so dumb, will you ask the help from your friend while you're on a call, important call, or will you do it yourself? You'll do it yourself, right? You'll say, you know what, don't worry. You'll get up, go find the remote, switch it on, you're good. Yes or no, team? Then why should we teach a tool all these steps? What is the reason, team? I've given you this answer yesterday. The 3 words for it. Always remember why we do this. All this effort is only for those 3 words. And it should easily stick with you. Exactly. Thank you so much, all of you, for remembering what it is. That is the E for efficiency, the R for reusability, and A for accuracy. These are the 3 most fundamentally strong points in that. Okay. Now, if ERA is critical, you need to understand that all the effort that we're putting is going in that direction. So the instructions that I give to a tool, a robot, has to be in the same mode, and that goes in as the command becomes the what you need to do. The target becomes the where it has to perform that operation. The value becomes in case a specific additional set of information is required, that test data that we need to provide is there in the value column. These are the 3 columns, team, that Selenium IDE has, and these are 3 most important things for any automation tool. Any automation tool. There's nothing beyond that. what do we need to do, where do we need to do, and if it requires additional data. Now let us try and understand these steps. Am I clear so far, everyone? Shall I take a pause and answer any technical questions? Questions about videos? This is not the right place. Go figure it out yourself. There are hundreds of participants and they all know why. They are not asking us this question. You need to figure it out, team. I'm not here to spoon feed you. All right? If you have a question, go to the right support team. Everything is there on the website. There was a question that Firebug is not supporting latest Firefox version 53. I see. Let me see, Aarti, what it is. My version is about Firefox is 53 and Firebug is not supporting. It is supporting because I can see it here, but it's deactivated. And even if it does not support, let's say right click, and if you see inspect element with Firebug, that is the one that it gives. It lets you see the code pertaining to that specific element. All right, I think it is working. However, you can use any inspect element out here. By default, all browsers for the last 2-3 years have started putting this inspect element. It may not be looking similar to Firebug, will still show you the relevant HTML code. The reason we are using Firebug is only for one most important thing, and which is the heart and soul of automation. That is the target. Just this specific thing called target. Nothing else. And it's the most important skill for automation team. All right. Let me see if there are any questions. Are you going to teach WebDriver? I will show you WebDriver, but I can't teach you WebDriver. It's a little bit more, it can't be done in this few sessions, team. I'm just giving you a good head start. How to implement regular expression? You can implement regular expression even in Selenium IDE, but I would love to do it in WebDriver for two reasons. One, it's the right thing to do because WebDriver with Java or any other programming language is much more sophisticated. Once you get control on it, you can do a great job. Number two, and a very genuine reason, is I'm not a Selenium IDE expert team. Very honestly, I'm not an expert on this. I know the basic fundamentals. Why didn't I master Selenium IDE? Because I don't work on it. I just use it very, very rarely, just to sometimes check for XPath or something that I've wrote to identify elements. All right. I'm just taking a few questions from the team, audience team right now, and then we'll get back to session. Is the intent of Selenium IDE to do automation? If so, why is it so limited? If not, what is its use? Great question, Faiz. I'll answer that maybe towards the end of it. I will definitely cover that. Selenium IDE is the starting point. It's giving you a quick automation tool. For someone who does not want to go all the way to automation, but still wants some recording of a test scenario, running of it and so on, they use IDE. But then it has limitations. It does not do everything that a programming language or script that can be attached to automation does. Is there any other automated extension like Selenium IDE for Google Chrome which records the user actions? Good question, Saket. When I say good question, that means that actually I use it both the times. Either I know the answer or I don't. Saket, I don't know if there's something like Selenium IDE that works on Google Chrome. But that the reason I don't know also is I never needed to know. Even if my application does not support Firefox, for example, I will still be able to do everything directly from Selenium WebDriver, which can do on Google Chrome. Selenium IDE works only with the Firefox browser team. Selenium WebDriver, however, has the capability to work with multiple browsers. Uh, Next question. Sorry, I joined just now. When I tried to install IDE in Firefox browser in my laptop, I'm getting error like signing not verified. I am unable to install any add-on in Firefox. Bhuvneshwari, I don't know the exact reason why that's happening, but I would suggest do a Google search on it. You may find a good solution. You can also use a technical forum team, because most of the times what happen is the questions through my live trainings do not come when the live session is happening. You get a challenge or an issue when you're practicing offline after the live session, and you need to enable yourself and empower yourself to solve that. I will guide you how you can handle your technical Q&A in a quick second after I finish this. How to access Google Drive, where you keep your notes. Mega, I'm not giving access to it. What happens sometimes is accidentally people edit or delete the files in it. What I do is towards end of every training or a project within the training, I zip them together into a file and then share it with you all. In the meanwhile, while you're watching the video, you repeat what I'm showing. If possible, can you please let me know the solution in the break or at the end of session so that I can try IDE on my own? I will try, I can't promise. All right, Bhuvneshwari. Sorry, what is regular expression? Okay, good question. I'll tell you what it is very briefly, Swati. But I don't think I'll be able to go in deep. Who has the right answer for what a regular expression is, team? What is a regular expression? And I'd never have a definitional answer. All I have is a conceptual answer. Expressing term in code, search pattern, something that represents something cryptic, replacing the text with wildcard characters. It's like a pseudocode test, takes the place of hard coding data, used for search patterns, handle dynamic value, regex patterns, absolute expression. See, here is where the human mind tries to overdo things. It is always a very simple answer thing, even for complex situations. And it's a life lesson that we all need to learn. Let us say I give you something cryptic, okay? A password from my application, okay, cannot contain any special characters, all right? It cannot contain. What does it mean? And it has to be 4 digit long, and it has to only be numbers. So what does that mean, team? It is star, 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 right? Now you fill the star with whatever you want, but this star has to be from 1 or 0 to 9. It's not 18, it's 0 to 9. And the same for each of these, correct? I'm saying that it must follow a pattern based on certain rules. Giving that pattern based on certain rules is called as a regular expression. So we're saying it must follow a pattern and it has to follow certain rules. Now tell me, what will the pattern rule be for a age of a human being? Can I use darker color pencil? Yellow is kind of light. D Gibbs, you're right. In fact, I'm trying. Oh, choose pen color. This is pen color. Let me see if I can. No. For highlighter, it kind of always gives me yellow. Then I have a pen color, which kind of draws very thin line. Age. What will the pattern be? So 2 stars, right? Only numbers. Can it be a decimal number? No, it has to be an integer. We kind of round it off, right, to the nearest integer. But what about 3 stars? What if someone is touched 100? See, so then our pattern analysis changed. We thought it wrong. Should it be 4 stars, team? Unless you're a godly human, you don't have 4 stars. So that becomes my regular expression for it. So some kind of a pattern which follows and abides by certain rules, and the way we write it becomes that. So for this, basically regular expression will be like square brackets 0 to 9 followed by another square bracket 0 to 9 followed by another square brackets, oops, close the square brackets, open square bracket 0 to 9. So in the code we give this. So when the verification is being done, it knows that it has to take only numbers from the range of 0 to 9. If I want to fill it from 0 to 99, I select this and so on. So that's the beginning explanation in a basic terms of what regular expression is, team. It will get a little bit more advanced. And the things like it's just numbers I spoke about in names, right? You can say that I only remember so let's say, okay, here's the thing. How do I say this? Okay, you met someone at a party, okay? And you know it's a 4-character name and it starts with an A, alphabet A, and it ends with an alphabet Y, and you are missing those 2 pieces in between. Now you know that it is not numbers. Then you're saying that it is something from A to Z. So if you really like the person and want to, get back to the person, you will say that it has to be something that I need to do. You'll sit down and start doing all the permutations and combinations of getting to fill each and everything. Sorry for my drawing team. Pretty bad with this mouse. A to Z, right? And then you'll come up with a kind of a template for it. So these are the kind of things where you know certain information, you do not know the other set of information, but you know it follows a pattern. Now let us talk about this, for example, this step, right? Now in this, what is the thing that will change? What is the thing that will change? Think clearly and deeply, team. Guys, do not deviate me from what I'm doing, please. The results, correct? This count will change. Is this correct, team? The highlighted one? Yes, this will change. Soft toys, will it change? No, not unless I change the search product. Is there something else that you're missing, team? Are you sure? Anything else? So now you see that hard realization is what a good software engineer requires. What if it goes to 180,000 or maybe 200,000? Will it still be 16 pages? No, right? So this one hyphen is correct, but you don't know if this will be 16 or 200 or 500. You don't know that. You don't know exactly what kind of a number range this could be. That's regular expression. All right, everyone. Does that make sense? How do we put it into programming becomes very important. All right, team, let's get back. I asked for Q&A, so people were requesting, so I went about it. Let's get back to this. Let's get to doing this 2 important things. So command becomes the what and the target becomes the where, team. These are the 2 most critical things. What are these commands? In IDE, when you click on any step, you will find that there is an editable section here for these steps. Command, target, value. You click on this drop down, you'll see the list of all the commands that come with Selenium IDE. See, so many of them, and you can play around with them, team. Now let's say I right click here and say new test case, okay, and I want to write a command here. So do I need to master every command of these maybe a few hundred commands? Do I need to know them? Do you need to master it, team? Do you need to remember them? No, but if you know that it is more English-like, plus when you select one, there is a tab here called reference, which gives you a more clear definition of what it does. That's good enough. Your focus should not be about mastering commands, team. Your focus should be about mastering target and then going into programming. That is where you put your energy in. Every human, every brain has limited energy before you burn out. So you put it in the right direction, you will get the best results. That is the reason you need a coach. Be it for music, be it for arts, be it for sports, be it for health, fitness, right? These days, you just don't go to a doctor. Sometimes you're also trying to go to a nutritionalist who's suggesting you the right food and diet and supplements for you to take. And that is why my recommendation is do not focus too much as to what command is. But as long as you can understand each of this, open, what does it do? We recorded something, it recorded 4 steps. Now I know open basically opens the URL that we provide. And then type, what does it do? It types into a field. Click and wait. What do you think it will do? It will click on something and wait. Why wait? So that when you click, let's say on a button, what will happen? The page is loading, a new page or the same page. Something is changing and it's over the internet. It may take a microsecond or a few seconds. You want it to wait for a few seconds till the page loads and then go to the next step. What does verified text look like? Looking at the name of the command, it verifies if a text is present somewhere. All this is related with what we call as the target team. All right. In today's session, we're just understanding IDE better, and we did a record and so on. In the next session, we will write our own Selenium IDE script without recording. But to do that, you need to know commands well, which is not that tough, but targets very well, and you need to master. There is no choice. There is never an automation engineer who does not know how to identify objects or elements. All right. Okay, give me a breathing space for a second. All right, team. I just thought I'll take a minute's break on my voice. Team, I don't know if there's a class tomorrow because it's a long weekend in the US as well. But my team will kind of coordinate and inform. Anyone there from IT and support team? Can you let me know, please?
Yes, Karthik. Ashna here from the team.
Hi, Ashna. Is there a class tomorrow at this time or no?
Yes, Karthik. We have a class tomorrow. That's on 26th of May, 27th, 20th, and 29th. That is Saturday, Sunday, Monday in USA that we don't have a class for these 3 days.
I see. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Okay.
Yes, Monday is Memorial Day. Yeah.
Okay, Monday. All right. Thank you, Ashna.
All right.
Yes, there is a class tomorrow, team. Okay. So element identification team. one of the most interesting and beautiful topics. So neat, it is so clean that it should inspire you to not sleep anymore and spend at least a few hours trying to figure that out. What happens, team, is to identify the where portion in any given application is a struggle for an automation tool like Selenium or any automation tool. But what they did very smartly is there is certain way I can identify it. Now, let's take an example, team. How do you identify a human? How do you identify a human, team? Let us say in this class, how am I identifying or looking at the names of each of you? By your first name. If it is not unique, then your last name as well. Correct? But now, this is in a group of, let's say, 300 people. But what would happen in that if I need to identify someone from an organization which has 200,000 employees, then I need an employee ID, correct? Or an email address. But what about in a country, let's say like China, where they have about 1.7 billion people? They need some kind of a government issued identification number. But what if I need to identify someone at a global level that is not unique with anyone else? We need a social security number, sorry, a DNA sample or something like that, correct? So depending on where we are, the group, our identification changes, team. In the real life, everything is treated. Let me save this. 1 second. And create a blank background. Try and take this pen. In real life, team, everything is nothing but an object. Okay, I'm trying to go to the red pen. Give me a second. Every object has two things, team. Oops. Do I have an eraser? No. Let me redo this. Very important concept. So I would love to take as much time as I can on this, please. Every object has two things. One is called properties. The second is called methods. I'm talking about real life. I'm not talking programming. Okay. Property is used for two things too, and I'll explain. One is identification and other is describing, right? Let us say I need to tell my friend that, hey, you know what? Can you go and get a bag from my car that is parked outside? It's a red color car, but there are dozen cars there. Will my friend be able to do that? I give the keys as well. Oh yes, the dozen cars, the chance that there will be two red cars is rare. Even if there are two red cars, he or she has the key and she can unlock and check which car is getting unlocked, open the door and get the bag, right? But it will not be the same when it comes to automation tools. It will say, where is the car? How do I identify it? What do I do? What do you mean by red color? What if I need to verify? How do I unlock? Which bag? How does it look? Thousands of questions and you need to answer and you need to think that I'm teaching an absolutely non-intelligent stupid thing called an automation tool. So you can describe properties or use something to identify. So for a robot, I may have to give it a license plate number or a VIN number. But for a human, you can give a color or a make and a model. And that's sufficiently enough. Everyone with me on this team? Very important. Control plus Z didn't work, D Gibbs, on the drawing thing. Thank you. Now, there is another concept called as methods. Methods is nothing but what is it that I can do on this object. Let us say it's a car. Okay, car is an object. We're trying to identify what can you do. You can drive a car. Oops. You can park a car. You can turn left. You can turn right. You can go forward. You can go backward. You can have fun in a car. You can transport people. There are different activities that you can perform using a car. So this is an object, okay, and I'll call it as O1, and this belongs to a class called as cars. All cars have something common. Cars are having four wheels. Automobile runs on gas or on electricity, electric or hybrid and so on, and they are used basically to transport people. That's a common thing. But when I go to the showroom and buy a car, it becomes my car. And that is an object of this class. It's my car. It's a specific car. It's a specific item, but it belongs to that class. And it also has the same properties and methods. Now, will the same properties and methods work for a smartphone? Will it be the same? No, because it's a different class. The properties used to describe or identify it will be different. It's a black phone. It's got a case. There's still a color, but it's on the table. It is not in the parking lot, and you can't drive or to park and so on. You can do different things: surf, call, text, WhatsApp, entertain, listen to music, and so on. So depending on the class, the properties and methods change. This whole concept that I just explained, team, is called as what? Can someone answer me? Oops. Can someone tell me what is it called? This whole concept that I said in real world is called something. That is the oops concept. Hey, where's the other notepad? Let me, where am I saving it? Desktop, is it? Sorry, team. Yep. This whole thing is called as oops. And oops stands for object oriented programming system. Now, this is what I call is as fundamentals and the core concept. I do not care about the depth of it. For someone that we recruit, we care more about uh, the clarity and how clear are those uh, concepts in their mind. That's all is that is important. So why did I explain this to you? Why did I explain each of these things to you? The specific reason. Because for element identification, automation tool considers everything that you see in this web page as one object, and it calls it as an element. Selenium calls it as an element. HP, QTP or UFT call it as an object. And each of these have the same two things. There are certain properties that they carry, some used to identify them, some used to describe them. And then there are certain methods that you can perform on them. Now let's say out here you see this. Is this an element or an object? Yes or no? Is this an element or an object? The one that I just highlighted to you. Both are same. When I say object or element team, I'm always talking about the same thing. It is an object, it is an element, yes, because it has got some properties and it does some methods. It cannot, all you can do, what can you do with this? You can read this text and copy it, paste it somewhere, verify it. Nothing is useless in what you see. Everything can, there's a reason for what you see everywhere in your web apps. Now, for me to look at the code behind this, I right click and I say inspect element with Firebug. So in the hundreds and thousands of lines of HTML code, it makes it easier for me to go directly out there. Now, this whole thing is the HTML code team. So if I click on this plus sign, oops, it's not responding. Give me a second. Okay. So this entire code, come on, Control C, becomes the HTML code that describes and identifies this element team. All right. This is how it is identified. This code represents what you see there. Now, if I go here and I try and change this, it's 171,178, right? What if I make this 171,171? Will it do anything on the website above? Will it change it there? Yes or no? Before I said it already changed it. So your answer became easy to you. Yes, it does. Now, did it change? Will it change it for everyone who's seeing this website? No, because it is at your end, at a client side, not on the cloud from where this HTML file is being pulled from. Okay. Remind me, I will explain the concept of the server or cloud and the client side maybe tomorrow's session, so it becomes very clear for you. Okay. Now, in this specific HTML code describes everything. So there's something called as HTML tag. Then there are attributes and values of that attribute. Attribute and values of that attribute. And using this, Selenium goes about smartly identifying it. So in this case, if I say ID s-result -count, that's good. That is enough for it to identify. Let's see what's there in Skype. ID equals no results title. Oh, okay. See, this is no results title. Is it correct? Same thing. But we are seeing it differently. It says S result count. Why is it saying no results title, team? Can anyone help me with that? So it's whose fault is that? Is it the application at the culprit, the Selenium script culprit, or the data that's culprit, or the teacher? I am the culprit. Me as a human, as a teacher. I'm looking at the wrong test case and I'm trying to say something's gone wrong and I'm so irritated and vexed because I tried for half an hour and I give up. This is one single most reason why people give up learning new things. A small roadblock, they struggle, they don't get the right guidance and they say, I give up. But do not think, have patience, have a belief. So let's go to the other one. Now, see ID equals S result count. That is the way we can identify elements. And tomorrow we will go deep into this. Now all I'll do is with the focus on this step, I will click on find button. See what will happen here. That specific area will get highlighted in your web browser. So do you understand the depth of this fundamentals, team? Why I'm taking all this effort to guide you on the importance of these basic things? Without learning and mastering these basic things, if we try and proceed towards automating, scripting, Java, frameworks, WebDriver, it is going to break things, team. All right. All right, team, that's it from my side for today. We'll see you back tomorrow. And if there are any questions, please feel free to interact with me, with my team. And the technical thing that I wanted to say, team, we have a forum and there's a Q&A that we've kind of set up. I would strongly recommend for you to do that. All right. So Ashna, can you please send the details to the team about this? And team, very sorry, like I said, right, this is not my laptop, it's a loaner laptop, so I don't know why it's showing up all the stupid websites that people are visiting on this. Okay.
Yes, Karthik, I'll share the details.
Thank you, Ashna. All right, that's it for today, team. Thank you so much for joining in. Hope it helped you, gained a little bit more expertise, and we'll see you back tomorrow. I am taking it very slow so that every concept will sit well with you. Even if you miss the session, do not miss to watch this video. Take care. Wish you all the best. Bye now. Thank you all. Bye now.